And with that in mind, so the risk moves away from yourself as the company to the bank itself. Then what happens is, according to the letter of credit, there's certain criteria that the exporter needs to meet. If he needs funding, and it's say it's a 120-day letter of credit, he can utilize that instrument to discount it at his bank. Now, discounting means he can go to his bank and say, you know what, I have this letter of credit, can you afford me money on that? The bank will then look at it and say, okay, fine, we are happy with country and commercial risk of South Africa and Standard Bank, we will discount you and give you 90% of that money in advance. So that guy can utilize that instrument as a funding instrument for him to purchase whatever he needs to manufacture, to export that goods of that quantity and quality to you here in South Africa. So we work, if you look at the transaction, it's nice to involve the banker or the international managers when you're starting the process to negotiate for the product you want to either bring into the country or you're going to export it out, because we can place certain terms and conditions on your either your invoice or with your who you're supplying to or you're buying from. And if they all agree to that, obviously we're mitigating risk in the whole transaction, because it's no use you send good you're paying for goods in advance, 100,000 rands, and what you ordered, say you ordered A4 paper, you receive A3 pages. You understand? So it's not what you ordered, because who's going to check that goods once it gets loaded on a shop? So what happens with the letter of credit? The title deed, which is obviously your bill of lading, which is your transfer deed document, that gets sent from bank to bank. So once Standard Bank is happy, we have the original bill of lading, that deed will be passed on to our client for them to be able to clear the goods at customs. That's on letter of credit. A documentary collection works on the same principle itself of obviously flows of goods, but the bank also deals with documents in this instance. And what happens is it's called cash against documents. So once the bank receives the documents, then we only send off the cash. So we only put the payment out. The process is not as tedious as a letter of credit, but also it mitigates risk from any type of transaction that you're trying to enter into. And then we get guarantees. So there's various types of guarantees as well. A payment guarantee is that once you receive certain goods, you are going to pay. So the bank stands as a guarantor in the back end for that. So what happens is the guys in overseas, or if you're receiving anything, their bank stands as a guarantor. If they can't pay, their bank has to pay with the funds, because you have met your obligation for either your export into the neighboring countries. And that's how the flow normally works. With regards to international trade, like I'm saying, I'll leave all my business cards here that I have with me. So please feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call to bounce anything off, because obviously by looking at a certain type of transaction, we can advise you where are the risks and what are the risks going to be. Who's going to take out insurance on the goods itself? Say that the goods are coming from China, and the ship gets stuck in water. There's something wrong with the ship. If you do not tick off transshipment allowed, that goods cannot move from that vessel onto another vessel. So until that vessel gets fixed, that's the only time you're going to receive the goods. If it takes 2 months for them to fix it, you're getting your goods 2 months later. So if you ordered goods for, say, to come in November, because their goods are going to be sent through to whoever you're supplying in South Africa for the December rush itself, and you only get the goods in January, you've missed that rush, you understand? So you're not going to be able to basically recoup that money itself. That's why if you're going to enter into any international trade or trade transactions, either into Africa or throughout the world itself, please feel free to give me a call. And if you have any questions, we'll answer it after this.
Okay, thanks, Hero. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sydney, and I'm Eurosif Africa Manager at Standard Bank. So I think I'm just going to pick up from where Azwi already left us with the other graph, where we had a couple of GDPs, and it was showing growth across Africa. So I suppose maybe my presentation is probably going to be based on a question that I'm probably going to ask you now. how many of you guys are thinking of going into Africa over the next, say, 6 months, 12 months, or even in the next year or two, doing business in Africa? Okay, and how many are currently in the continent besides, well, outside South Africa, that is? It was 2, I think, the gentleman over there, 2. Okay, so I think that's a good sign, the fact that many of the entrepreneurs out here are actually thinking of going out into the continent. So I suppose maybe the question that you're asking yourself is, how is that guy going to take me to Africa? So like I already mentioned, I'm Yusuf Africa Manager, and just like my colleagues here, I'm going to leave my business cards with the facilitator, and then if you guys have any questions, you can always either call us or drop us an email, and then we'll get back to you, obviously depending on, you know, the outcome or whatever it is, if we have an outcome, like a result or feedback according to what you're asking us. So in South Africa, we have pretty much the big 4 banks, Absa, Standard Bank, Nedbank, and is it FNB? Yes, FNB, sorry. I was now thinking Capitec and stuff. But yeah, so we're just looking at those 4 big banks. So if you're looking at those 4 big banks and Africa itself, Standard Bank, us, we actually have the biggest footprint across Africa. So if you're looking at that slide there, which I suppose not many can actually see. So that's all the countries we have a presence in. So you'll see there's a yellow part there that's actually Ethiopia. We just have a representative office where people can come in and out and ask questions, and then we can guide them and all that kind of stuff. And then the guys that are like dark blue is where we have our proper branches, just like how you can walk into a Standard Bank here, say in Woodbank, and then they can facilitate whatever it is that you need, be it a business account for your business, be it your personal account for yourself, or be it asking about student loans and all those kind of things. So wherever you see something that's light blue, dark blue, and the other shade of blue, that's where Standard Bank is. So if you're looking at those big 4 banks, so we have a presence across 19 countries, and our next best, well, the next best thing I think is probably FNB. I think they're sitting on across 6 or 8, I think. I'm not too sure about the numbers. So I think we're actually the bank to be with if you're actually thinking of going into Africa, like most of you already indicated at the beginning. But how do we get you to Africa actually? How do we get you past the borders of SA? So I think if you've been here since the morning, you'd have realized that we've got different stalls of all the different companies or clients that are presenting whatever they have to you. So you'd have walked past the Standard Bank store. There you've got your consultants that you find in the branch. You've got your SE managers, which is your small enterprise managers. They have a bit more information regarding SEs and how they can grow you and where you're going and how they can help you. And then you've got your business bankers, you've got your private bankers, you've got your rest of Africa managers and your international banking managers. So we're all here actually just to sort of lend an ear and understand what it is that you're trying to do next. So I'm just going to speak to myself and my portfolio, which is the rest of Africa. So how do we get you again? I know I keep repeating that question, but I think it's actually key so that you really understand when you really think about growing your business into Africa, this question keeps like ringing in the back of your head. How do we get you to Africa? So I'm just going to use this gentleman for example. He owns ShopRite Pty Limited, but he's currently trading in South Africa, within the borders of South Africa, be it in GP, Cape Town, Eastern Cape, and all that kind of stuff. And we pretty much know the market here, how it is, what you need to provide to your clients, and all that kind of stuff. But you're actually thinking, you know what, my margins are not that big here in South Africa. I'm thinking, you know what, I need a bit of those US dollars outside. And where can you get US dollars? It's obviously most of the countries in on the African continent. So I'm just going to use, sorry sir, what's your name? It's Chris. So I'm just going to use Chris, the owner of ShopRite Pty Limited. He actually decided, you know what, like I said, my margins are a bit small in South Africa. I want to go into Zim. But he has no intellect, he has no knowledge about how to go into Zim, what he should expect there, what the regulations are. I mean, banking regulations and like, you know, your legal, you know, implications with everything that you do there. So what happens is Chris obviously will walk into Standard Bank, because remember, we are the biggest. We have 19, you know, different representative offices. So it's a simple step. So Chris walks into a Standard Bank here, Woodbank or Emalahleni. Look, Sid, I'm actually trying to grow my business into Zim. That's what I'm thinking about. How can you help me? That's all he has to say to me. And then, based on what I know, all the information that I have, like depending on which country that you ask me about, I can then, I don't want to use the word school, but I can almost like inform you of what you can expect there. For example, Chris, if he's trying to go into Zimbabwe with his ShopRite Pty Limited, you need to understand one thing. whatever company that you take into Zimbabwe, the government is going to own 51%. So the best you can ever get is 49%. See, so not many people knew that. They'll probably think, I'm just going to go across there, get some US dollars, come back, you know, enjoy life. But one thing you need to know, for Zim, you have 49% maximum shareholder, the government owns 51%. Why, you ask? Remember that country currently, the economy is totally like going south, and what they're trying to do is prevent entrepreneurs like ourselves, or like Chris in this case, from coming in, doing a bit of a service or providing certain goods, getting US dollars and leaving. So basically what you do, or what Chris would have to do, is we inform him and we guide him on how to, for example, start off. You obviously need a business account after you register your company in Zim. So I mean, how else are your people going to be paying you? So you need to go into Zim. We help you because we've got a Stanbic ZW, which is Zimbabwe. We open an account for you there. And depending on your financial strength and all that kind of stuff, because I mean, all different businesses have different profit margins, different success levels. So depending on that, we can provide you facilities in that country. And when I say facilities, I'm talking about, it all depends on what you want to do there. It could be your VAF, which is your vehicle asset finance. So if you want trucks there in the country to do whatever business that you're doing, or if you want to lease out a building so that you can provide whatever service or products that you're providing in that country. Or it could be any other sort of loans or credit facilities that you might need, but the bank can provide you, but based on your financial strength too. So then, based on that, let's assume Chris's financial strength is very good, and we've helped them open an account in Zimbabwe, Stanbic Zimbabwe. What happens next is now, for you to start business, we need to help you apply because like to the ZIA, the investment agency. I mean, they're looking at your business plan. They're currently taking businesses that are going to be in the country for at least 5 years or so. So you must have a long sort of medium to long-term plan if you're trying to go into Zim. You can't just go in there and send in a truck with caps. And then think your money's going to come back. So that's the one thing. So you have to have it like, you know, say 5 years plan for it. And then obviously we help you with the application to get it through to the ZIA, which is the Zimbabwe Investment Agency. And then if they approve, hoping that they do, because I mean, remember, we already opened an account for you. You already got your company registered in that country. Then you can start doing business. But now you're already there. You've got your license. You've got your bank account with us. We're charging you certain very low fees. And you've got your clientele there in Zimbabwe, but now the problem is the country is using US dollars, and there's currently a shortage of US dollars or forex. So whatever currency is there's not enough. I mean, just like most of the African countries, now you're worried how you're going to get your money. So I think in this case, at some stage I'll give Hero the mic to speak to that. So you're not worried about how you're going to get your money out of that country. So one thing you need to understand is I'm just going to use $100 US as a for argument's sake. So the economy in Zim today will have $100 US to pay out to all the people that are providing goods and services. So now you need to understand that in that $100, each and Chris is amongst 10,000 other people that are providing trucks, caps, phones, oil, food. So in that country, specifically in Zim, there is actually a priority list. So in that $100, they look at all the people. For example, I think number one is your oil and gas. So they're going to look at all the people that need to be paid out oil and gas. They will pay them out a certain portion of the month that they're owed. Number two is going to be your pharmaceuticals. Your number three is going to be your staple food like maize and all those kind of things that they might be importing and all that kind of stuff. And then everything else, number 4 up until 20 or 50, I don't know how long the list is. It depends on that. So if you're selling suits, sending suits into Zimbabwe, don't expect to get your money ASAP, because that's not going to happen. Remember that $100, probably $10 went to your oil and gas, your next $10 went to your pharmaceuticals, your next $15 went to your agriculture and stuff like that. So you probably have like $50, and there's iPhones, there's suits, there's everything, makeup for the ladies and stuff like that. So you're just thinking, look, I'm not going to get my money now, so you need to be patient. So we need to inform you that, look, you can't expect to get out of the $10,000 US they owe you, you can't expect all of it in the next month. You're probably going to get, say, $1,000 US, depending on how much currency they have in that country. and in the next month you're going to have maybe another 1,000 out of the 10,000. So it's all those kind of things that we actually inform you, so that when you go in there, you know what to expect regarding payments, you know what to expect regarding legal regulations, you know what to expect regarding your banking sort of parameters that you have to comply to and what you have to do. So with all the different countries that we have a presence in, forget that slide, where we have a presence or a Standard Bank, sometimes it's called Stanbic. I think it's only called Standard Bank in South Africa and in Mozambique. Everywhere else it's actually called a Stanbic. So wherever we have a Standard Bank or a Stanbic, we have guys ready to welcome you with open hands and open arms, if you call it that. And do business with you. Like, as we already said, Africa is ready for business. There's a lot of money there. I mean, I've met a few clients, X, Y, and Z, that are actually really taking home good monies as compared to what they were doing here in South Africa. But at the end of the day, it's all about having that long-term plan, 5 years to 10 years, identify the country that you're trying to go into, and if you don't have the intel on the industry that you're going into, you can always approach a Standard Banker. I mean, we are there, rest of Africa. We have our business cards here. We have a team that will help us. If we don't have all the answers, just like I'm sure everyone else in this room doesn't have all the answers, we can gather information for you. And Botswana, how the agriculture industry is, just is a bit hot in here, but yeah, how the agriculture industry is, who are the big players, what are you going to be lining up against there? How is the payment system? Our guys click on the payments. All those kind of things. You don't have to Google. We're here for you. We can provide you that information. We can hold your hand up until whenever, as long as we're getting our banking fees, it's okay. And all those kind of things, you know. So it's pretty much that. Growth into Africa. We have the information. We are an email away, a phone call away, and then that's how it goes. So I think to that part regarding payments, I'll just pass to Hero, and I think from our side it's pretty much it. And if you have questions, you can wait for the Q&A, or you can also drop us an email or an SMS and stuff like that. Thank you.
Coming back to Sydney's point with regards to payments, there's certain countries in Africa itself what have liquidity issues, meaning the clients have the money, but as soon as they put that money in the banking system, that money is being utilized to pay for other primary products that the country needs itself. Angola, for example, they were a big oil exporter itself. Obviously, when Brent crude oil was at $150 a barrel, I think so the cut-off or the cut-in line was at $70, and they were making nice profits. Currently, the dollar is sitting at just under $60 a barrel. So even if they export, they're making $10 less on it. So the country itself don't have currency. The only payments that will get facilitated and made is if there's a letter of credit in place. So once there's money in the bank, the country itself needs to pay letters of credit first before paying an open account. So if you're sending goods and waiting to expect to get money on an open account, you might not get paid until all the letters of credit have been basically paid for first. So we're looking at various countries in Africa with regards to payments, and that's why I say it's very important when you're going to go into any trade discussion or any import or export with any clients itself across our borders, please come speak to us, because we can give you insights about obviously the country itself, and we can look at mitigating risk with regards to either your outflow of payments or your inflow of payments. So even if you need funding or liquidity in South Africa, you need working capital itself. If you're going to export certain goods itself and you receive a letter of credit, depending on the country, we can look at discounting it, that instrument for you and giving you cash in advance for you to be able to manufacture or produce whatever you need to before exporting those goods. Thank you.
So, I'm educated, I'm sorry. Mina, usuthi mina mangona ispanda shop sami uyosivula eZimbabwe. Government una 59% na 41 mina. Wangifuna imali yami lapha government na 49 mina. Government ithatha 59%. 51%. Yeah? the health, lost someone and all. After 2 months, but what's important, I think, is that you must get the right intelligence. That's the message that you must take home. Even if the market is lucrative, you've got all the information, you've got all the network, just before you go into it, go to the right institutions. These people are dealing with this thing about your rise every day, you know. So please don't just go in. Let me take questions now. I'll start to sites. Okay, the site 1. Gentlemen, you just know the question, then at the end 2, second one, then the third one, 1, 2, 3. Okay, repeating the 5 this side. Let's start. The first one.
Hello everyone. I just have a question here. You mentioned something about risk management. I just want to know that if you go through the process of, let's say I have all my documentation and I go through the process of discounting and I export my goods, along the line something happens to all the products that get damaged. So how does that work? Do you guys, do you get your money back? Do I have to pay you? Or what happens? I don't know if you've dealt with that kind of situation before.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to ask one question about because they are talking about the import and the export. I want to know if, my sister there, she was speaking too much about the Maputo, whatever. I want to know if I can take something from South Africa to import to export to Mozambique. I can also import something from Mozambique to South Africa. That is my question.
What I want to find out is that as maybe I'm a client for another bank, so I need assistance from Standard Bank. So do I have to swap my account to have an account with Standard Bank, or can I be assisted?
Good afternoon. I think might be referred to Masri, or I don't know. Yeah. We've been to these international expos and we in ICT, and we have been trying to import electronics into South Africa, but SABS wants samples to check on so that they see how, what's the right word, legible, whatever, yeah, the legibility of the product. And we brought in a few samples, 2 or 3, to the SABS. It's taking forever to get done, and the costs are very high. How would you help us in going through that process? Because it's tiring, it's irritating. We've decided to just park that avenue of importing, yes. So even when I heard that there's an import and export seminar, I'm thinking, there's too much red tape. Everyone is trying to push it down. You take SABS, people are trying to push it down. You can't even get to the final person that's supposed to do the final approval. Government has also got its own laws, so what is it really? It's not as easy as you're saying it. Maybe enlighten us.
Okay, let me take 5 this side also. Abasithengisela ama-charger emarobotini bathenga nge-10 rand, basithengisela nge-150, baya-import mara bababuzi wona. Okay. First question 1. Only 1 decide. Okay, 2.
Thank you. I just want to check two things from Standard Bank. You are mentioning a lot of products there, letter of credit, guarantees, etc., etc. What are your fees for these things? And the second question is, okay, you assist the business from here, you do the applications, get the licenses and everything. At what point do you just leave the trade aspect and focus on the banking for that business? At what point do you do that, if you do? Then I want to check with the MEGA or the government. Yes, MEGA is the government. You mentioned an interesting fact that the trade numbers for the province may be inaccurate because of the head office effect. How much is that in terms of the gap? And why are you not reporting adjusted numbers so that we have accurate numbers? Then the second issue is where is a list of products or agreements that Mpumalanga has where small businesses should focus their effort in terms of supplying those products?
The first one there.
What I want to know, my church is doing in everything, like Manish in this season, because it's going to be different in my churches of sevens and my church of assistant in terms of must pull, say I'm a part of the country, say what's something. So what I want to know, I'm in South Africa, and then I'm selling something in the streets. Then yes, I'm registered. I promise that I don't have that big company or what, but then I want to buy those things by myself outside there, not buy it to those people. I was saying I'm 10 rand outside the country, I was saying 100 rand. So I want to know what's another thing. What I want to know is, let's say I have a business, and that business that I have, let's say I have an administration business to upgrade and to motivate.
I don't have a question, but I want to ask something. Maybe you can help attend you to open a business outside the country? Whatever.
Thank you. As we wait for our facilitator, in the meantime, we'll just go through the answers, right?
With regards to obviously the risk mitigation on say goods that obviously is being exported or being imported, then it's via water and something happens. When we look at a transaction, obviously you're looking at all components of the transaction to mitigate risk from the whole transaction and whole deal itself. On that will obviously be the insurance component for the goods itself or for the shipping line. So you'll notice what you're importing, there's a letter of credit. You have various Incoterms like cost insurance and freight that's either included, free on board, and those type of things. That will determine who needs to pay for the insurance portion. Normally, goods are insured for the full value plus 10%. The 10% is for the insurance company, for the shipping company. So if anything happens to the goods on water, the insurance company pays basically out for the goods. Right, and then with regards to Mozambique, so yes, you can basically export goods into Mozambique and from the import goods into South Africa from Mozambique. That's a simple import-export transaction. There's another type of transaction that if you are the middleman and you're sourcing goods from one of the countries to go directly into one of the African countries, so say goods from China itself going directly into Tanzania, say it's electronic equipment, that transaction is called a merchanting transaction because the physical goods doesn't cross South African borders. It will go from China to Tanzania. Only the flow of funds comes into South Africa and then gets paid from South Africa through to China.
So
in terms of importing your products, the other thing which is important is that compliance. So when you apply for your license, that is your DA 185 license, make sure that you at least have the same number for your import and export. And that will make it easy for you. Thank you. Yeah. So we at face value, maybe let me say, as you know, the South African Bureau of Standards is a South African company, and as South Africans, we are more focusing on companies exporting, increasing our exports, because when the electronics are manufactured in South Africa, obviously there's more jobs and stuff like that. So I think I need to find out exactly what is happening and get our contacts there. It will be difficult for me to say how I can assist there. But I also want to let you aware that maybe the reason right here may be that they want more South Africans not to import products. But you will come to my stand and then we'll talk more about it. I think that's better. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And okay. Botswana agriculture. The Botswana agriculture connection. Okay. You remember, we're not getting all the information, but basically, are you saying, do you need to export products to Botswana, or you want to start joint venture in Botswana? I don't have more information. How do I answer this? Okay.
Mina siswami bengicela uku-exporta into ze-agriculture, fertilizer, maize.
Sure. If the question is not being dealt with sufficiently in here, they've got stalls. Please, after this, just make sure that you go to the stall so that they can even help you after this session.
Okay, the good thing is that he is one of my clients, so we'll be able to assist him from there. And okay.
With regards to obviously the product pricing itself, it depends on the risk rate for each client itself, and obviously which country it's going through. So there's obviously country and commercial risk built into the pricing for letter of credit. It depends also if it's on a facility or cash basis. So if you have the funding for issuing a letter of credit out, we're looking at basically 0.05% of the transaction value. That's on the complete pricing. On that, guarantees work slightly differently, and as well as cash against documents. Cash against documents pricing is similar. The bank doesn't play such a big role in what regards, you basically verify the documents and ensure it's in accordance with the product itself, but on the letter of credit there's more involved. So your fees will vary client to client, and it's either if it's a facility granted by the bank itself or is it cash covered. So if it's fully cash covered, like I said, the pricing is 0.05%. Yeah, 0.05%. That's on cash cover. So if you need to issue a letter of credit, say for R1 million itself, and you have the $1 million, we advise you to place it on a call account, invest it for obviously that time period, so you're gaining interest on that investment, and then we charge you the fee of 0.05% of that full value.
Okay, I need to tackle the head office effect and our question. And the question was, how much is that in GDP? I am unable to answer that question right now, right here. But what I know is that I think it's something that we talk about, and it's difficult for us to know exactly how much, because there's not much you can do about SAPI having their all their forest in Mpumalanga, but their head office is in Nelspruit, and all whatever profits that they make, it's put there in Nelspruit. Because when we get that information, we're receiving it through the companies that we use for our statistics side, like at the GTI and all that. So I'm unable to answer that question to your satisfaction, and I hope that is acceptable. It's not. Okay, I'll have a follow-up. We will talk about that. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, this is the one that is more interesting. This is in terms of on agreements on where SMMEs should focus, right? So now, every time we have inward and outward missions, there are memorandum of understandings that are taken between, say, the International Chamber of Commerce for the particular country that we are visiting, as well as governments. You find that they say President Zuma is signing a memorandum of understanding with the Iranian president. The deputy president is gone to Iran, they visited the country, and they have a memorandum of understanding. So what happens is there's a lot of work that goes on before those things happen. They try to find out what is the comparative advantage in terms of South African companies. Which countries are now ready, opening up their markets to trade with South Africa, which is why you find that
had a relationship with Mr. Shoprite here in SA for 10 years, and this is the financial track record, and this is the strength. Based on this, can you supply Mr. Shoprite Pty Limited with, call it, 1 million pula to buy, say, 10 trucks to transport stuff within Botswana? So I think if we're now looking at it, say, 5 years from now, the answer to that question in retrospect would be yes, you would have to, well, ideally, it would be nicer for your accountants to Standard Bank. I don't know, my answer you is.
Another thing I want to add on with regards to that. So, say you have another banking account here in South Africa and you open one in Stanbic in Botswana, and obviously you need to purchase vehicles or you need to purchase anything. The bank, that side, they don't have any financial records of you. They will say, okay, fine, you need to sign off surety or give us a guarantee. So you do a guarantee from the local bank here through to them for them to facilitate and give you a facility or an overdraft or whatever it may be. If you are with Standard Bank itself and you need to open up one with Botswana itself, we can advise them that we'll issue a guarantee out from here. You will hold your funds here in South Africa, so you're not sending it to Botswana. And on the strength of that, they will give you because of the relationship between Standard Bank and Stanbic itself. So we can also motivate for that facility to be granted in country.
But if your account is with FNB, we can't see what's your financial strength in South Africa, so Botswana won't be able to give you money. Do you see where that whole thing ties together? So remember our system, we just click Mr. Shoprite Pty Limited, Botswana account, Zim account, SA account, we see your strength, your strength, your strength. We motivate according to what heroes already say. Boom, you've got your million pula and bots, you buy 10 trucks, business as usual, you get your profits. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it goes, eh? And then I think the second question was to do with, I think, I can't really remember, but I think it came from this side. It was to do with, well, the bank being able to hold your hand and assist you, but then at some stage you wanted to break up because you were asking at what point do we leave the trade aspect and just focus on banking. So I think I'm going to answer part of that, and then maybe here is going to add on to that. So I think, look, at the end of the day, we all here in SA, and you obviously going to be the owner of Shoprite Pty Limited. That's going to be in this country. Before I go on, are you just oh, okay, wherever you would have decided to go in and take your business into Africa. So what happens, remember, is you came to me as your first point of contact, and I push you through to my different teams in the different countries, and based on the relationship that you and I have over the, say, the past 5 years, I know your strength in everything, because everything at the end of the day is about the track record, credit record, and everything. So let's assume you're in Namibia. We're going to appoint a banker on the other side to look after you, basically. When I say you, I mean your company. That's the guy who's going to be looking after, well, whatever request you have. Your facilities, look, Sydney, Namibia, I need the $1 million Namibian to lease out a building because I do blah, blah, blah. So in each and every country, we will appoint a banker that's going to be looking after your banking needs, be it credit cards, VAF, cash, whatever it is that you need. It's the same request that you have. I mean, the same requests and needs that you have here in South Africa, you will obviously have those same requests and needs in the different country. And there'll be a Mr. Hero in Namibia that's going to be looking after you and making sure you are well fed, or your business is well fed in that country. And should you have problems with that, obviously, remember I was your first point of contact here in South Africa, and obviously here in South Africa, you're not trying to use 55 Rand airtime in 2 minutes to call that guy. All you got to do is drop me a mail with your frustration in the country, and you don't even need to give me the name of the banker. And obviously through our systems, we'll be able to track your account in that country, what the request on the system is, if it was logged even, and where the holdup is, and well, the red tape that I think one of the ladies spoke about. So then based on that, I can assure you in 48 hours, I'll get back to you, obviously depending on whatever it is that you need on the other side. I mean, we can't approve $1 million US, I mean $1 million Namibian dollars for your VAF in an hour or 2 hours, but I mean we have to do our credit checks and everything. So depending on the country and all the requests, we're going to be able to give that to you. But yeah, so I think, yeah.
So where Sydney is coming from, obviously Stanbics in each country itself, you'll have a different, I would rather say, relationship manager or business manager in country. So he's the person in country, on the ground. So if you are in that country itself and you go to do site visits and check how the operations are going, and if you have any need, you have someone that's in country what can speak the language and all the other stuff of them as well. So that's another nice thing. But obviously your point of contact will either be in country or you can contact us and we will take it further with the guys in country, and we can, if we need to escalate anything, we can escalate upwards.
Okay, so
and then there was another question with regards to obviously opening up of a business in another country, right? Are you a South African citizen? Okay, so that's no problem opening a business in another country, but obviously there is certain requirements, which country you want to go to, what's the product you're going to sell, what's the regulations in that country, and those type of things. So from that, obviously, we can have a one-on-one discussion to see which country you're going into, what's the product itself. And then we can obviously do, like we said, we'll give you more information about the country and those type of things. Then we can take the conversation further from there.
And I think maybe just to add on to what Hero is already saying, which is 99% correct, I think maybe also to the rest of the crowd that might be also thinking, look, I actually just want to open a shop in Kenya or whatever the case might be. We remember where there's a Stanbic, because we're going to be able to help you there. So I think another thing that you need to understand is, remember it's always a two-way thing if you try and open a business. So you must have your own capital that you're willing to put up front, because the bank's not just going to give you everything. They need to understand that, look, sir, are you willing to put down, say, 15 million, and we also give you the other 50? We meet you halfway. So if you're looking to open a business outside the borders of South Africa, it means you're taking cash out to there, so outflow of capital. But because you're based in South Africa, probably at some stage you're going to want profits to be coming back, but profits can't just come back. They obviously, the SARS needs to know of all this information. So what we do is we help you apply to the SARS, so that the day you decide to bring your money, your profits back from Kenya or whatever country that it is that you're trying to do business in, your funds don't get withheld by the authorities. They know Mr. Shoprite Pty Limited is selling laptops in Kenya, and he made $1 million, and his profit is all expenses covered. Say it's 800K. He's trying to bring back that 800K. It's not just going to come into your account. Everything has to go through authorities so that no one gets arrested. And then at the end of the day, you have your money, and then I think you and I can go for lunch after that.
Not only that, there is obviously a sound implication. With any South African company trying to obviously invest in another country, either in Africa or anywhere around the world, we need to apply. It's a company will need to apply at the Reserve Bank for approval to pay the money out into that country, because you're investing in another country itself. So that will be done under a company foreign direct investments, where you're going to directly invest in that country itself. So we'll need to put the application in place. So the current limit on a yearly basis per companies to apply at the Reserve Bank is for plus minus 1 billion rands per year.
Okay, thank you. In terms of grooming of companies, there's something that I need to focus on, and it's very much important. It's all about compliance. Okay, it may sound very much simple. Like for instance, if your company name is Nkangala District Municipality, right? So PTY Ltd. Every other thing that has got to do with that company, it's important that you make sure that they are in that name. Like for instance, even a telephone number. Like when you want a telephone, a cell phone or telephone, it has to be registered under that name. Because when it comes to that, it's very much important. Like for instance, if you are applying for DTI MES scheme, so you are expecting the DTI to take, say, let's say you are exhibiting this whole the furniture. You are a furniture manufacturer. They are going to take your table, your 4 chairs, if it's a dining room that you want to feature, all of that, they're going to put it in a ship and they're going to make sure that it arrives, say, let's say we are focusing on Iran or we are focusing on the US where the furniture is. So in order for them to be able to do that for you, the first thing which is the knock on the door, you must make sure that your doors are not closed because you didn't comply. So we're finding that every time when you send in applications to us, we still have to go back to you and say, look, the name of the company is not the same as the document on this other application. You are not complying because your documents are not up to date. You are not complying because there's different, let's say this page has a different bank account. The other page has a different bank account. So all those, they sound so simple and legal things, but when we have to look at them, it legitimizes your business. So next time, we urge companies to just make sure that you comply, and you will find that every time when we ask for documents, and you are always ready with your documents because everything is up to date. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I wanted to close the session, but for my lady here, I'll give a special concession.
Glad that you spoke about compliancy, and it's very important. What we are finding, I think a lot of people can agree with me, especially with offices that are government related. You hear me, people? Anything not government, you go to the front, the front desk. That's where the training needs to come from. We need those people to be well trained, because you go in there. I'm just going to give a simple thing like SARS. I don't really have a problem with SARS. They're a bit switched on now. But you go there and say, I want to register for import license. I'm just giving an example. I don't even know if they do that. It's not as simple as that lady to tell me, you need your ID, proof of residence. What you will find is that when they've asked you to bring the 4, you go back home, you're coming from Middleburg, say, and you're going to Witbank office, or you're coming from Lesnambeni. It's not as easy because we're all small businesses who are trying to save every cent. In figure SARS, I come and submit. No, sis, can I submit in? But I was here last week. I need my tax certificate. I'm just giving an example. Okay, then I go back. Then it's as if now it's being processed. A month later, Answi phones me from SARS. Mrs. Kunene, we just found out that you are not, the tax clearance record is not up to date. I'm also just giving an example. I don't know what's required. And we've also found out that, you know, that company name that you submitted, but it's a month later, and if I had not called or queried, I would not have had a call from you to tell me now that there's 3 other things that I did not comply with. So I feel the problem is not you on top there. The problem is the face of the company. So right now, if I go to Mega, I promise you, they won't tell me what you're telling us. They will give me 3 items, and 2 months later, if I phone to shout, not to inquire, then I start getting calls to say I'm not compliant.
Now for special concession.
Good day, my name is Julio from Consultants and Project Company. I've got a question. Let's say you've been captivated by all of this importing and exporting. What is the first procedure that you take in order for you to become one?
Okay. Do you want to tackle this one, guys? You tackle this one, then I'm going to just wind up on the process. I want to tell you where to from here, because I want to finish the questions. My problems, my name Kakulo. But I will suggest the process with this to Dilanjan now.
Sanbulane. Okay, I just want to find out something here. When it comes to exporting and importing, when we arrive at airport, when you arrive there, is there a way for us to only declare our stuff when we enter from, maybe coming from another country to South Africa? So is there any way for us to declare our stuff that we brought in South Africa than getting a agent to do it for us? Is there any way to do it for them?
Anyone, any question? One more, so that I close the session. Okay. Anyone, okay.
Yes, good day. You see, this thing of the loans, you know, it's very difficult for most startup businesses. So to both of you guys, don't you have other form of a loan, such as a CSI or an SLP rather?
Thank you guys. I'll tell you the process from here, they will answer. We're going to have one more chance for my panel to respond to a question, and then I'm going to have a very short motivation, and then the session will close. But with powers vested on me, Mega, and Kangala District, we are going to commit that beyond this expo, every quarter, Mega is a government, Kangala is government. They must have one session in a quarter, one day, where they deal with individual problems, okay? Because obviously, I'm from Sweden, they are unique. But we've got to apply first, or just make an indication either through the district or through Mega. Then they will use Ikagala district as a meeting point. They will give you time. When they say if you're on 8, between 8 and 9, they're going to deal with you one-on-one. Then deal with the issues. Man with a problem, you want to connect to Botswana, they say come at 9 o'clock, they'll give you another hour. Then the other quarter food, I think by the end of the day, people who are doing export and import are not people in the past in a rally. Eh? They are few. So it should be very easy to take that track. So that's a commitment that we're making. We're going to make sure that it happens. And I'm sure, just make sure that all of you who are interested, your names are in the register. And then we'll communicate to you, I'm with you through an email in terms of how to make a submission or your inquiry in writing so that they can set up an appointment for you. Doesn't matter if the problem needs DTI, remember we're government, we can bring DTI here. If the problem is SAPS, we'll bring SAPS here. If your problem is SARS, we'll bring SARS in one venue, okay, on that day. Okay.
Let me start. Just a follow-up on what he's saying. If you come to, we can even start it now. The people who are here are the ones who have the news, right? So you can come to my stand. I have trade inquiries ready. So you will write all your needs, for lack of words. I want to talk about the process. So where do I start if I want to start importing and exporting, especially if you want to start exporting? You start by empowering yourself. You just write Google how to import. Then you get a lot of information wherein you read and read and read and read, okay? Just generally on how to import. And then by, so let's say you're asking yourself, I'm from South Africa, where I don't know what type of product you are importing, right? Let's say you want to export, let me give you an example, furniture, okay? Where can I export my furniture? So you have some sort of information for yourself, which will help you. Because the reason why I'm saying that it is because a decision to export, it's a business decision. We are there to assist you on your business, on what you want to export. So it's, if you come to me and say, I have this furniture, I just want to export this thing to this country, then we are easily able to assist you there. But if it is very much vague, then it becomes a problem. That's why I say you start from sitting down, deciding what is it that I want to export. Because you can have a lot of products within what you are manufacturing. You are welcome to just choose one product to export to a particular country. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And then from there, you make sure that you have a license, the DA 185. A lot of these things are free. They are available for you for free, like your license, and then the promotion that you can get, okay? And then CEDA also assists companies in terms of export training. So there's the training that they do in a day, there's a 3-month training, and there's a 3-year training. So they are all different. So the other thing that you can do is to send ASRI an email. ASRI, I'm interested in exporting product 1, 2, 3 to this country, help me. Then we deal with you from there. Thank you.
Sorry, ASRI, what is a DA 185?
Oh, it's a license. Sorry, I'm just used to calling it that way to differentiate it. It's your license. Like when you want to export and import, you have a license. Yeah.
From my side, where do we start with regards to import and export? Obviously, you as an owner of a company needs to know what product you want to export or what product you want to import. For example, cell phones. As a good example, you are to import them from China through to South Africa, but you need to obviously do a little research and homework. Who in South Africa is also basically selling the same product that you're looking to import? Is there a market for that product? It's no use you bringing a million of these phones and no one buys it here in South Africa. So where do you start? It's basically internally to see what you want to import or what you want to export. Is there a market for it? And if there is, basically, then you can give me a call, and from there we can take that conversation further. Because how many products are you going to import? Who are you going to supply? Have you got a firm undertakings to say, like MTN and Vodacom say they're willing to take this product, and those type of things.
Okay, colleagues, we're just going to close 10 minutes. We're going to give it just to our motivational speaker just to help us up. This is a graveyard session. Then from there, just before you go home, those who have not had an opportunity to visit our stalls, please go there and network. We said this morning, when you go back home, must have 2 things. I want to repeat that. Go home with information, valuable information. Go home with an opportunity, or go home with both of them. Okay? So today you must just make sure that we've got one of these on board. Okay? So tomorrow we're going ahead. We'll start 8 o'clock, and we'll have our morning session. But after that, we're going to have another interesting seminar. I think it's only one. The seminar is on industrialization. Those who want to be industrialists, particularly in the manufacturing sector, please come forward. Remember, government, they've got a program called to promote black industrialists. Yeah, perhaps slogan at this 10 as things. I find the secret is. But we also need knowledge. We need to know where to start and what programs are there in government to support you. Most of you, we have got ideas, you know, but you don't have the technical know-how. So tomorrow is going to be an opportunity, because the word industrialist in Pazami is a big English word, but it simply means kikriza.
Wonderful. Put your hands together for our resource persons. Clap your hands for them. They've done well, and it's been very informative. You've been told that before you leave here, you must leave this place with information or opportunities. It's very important. Where we are standing in the 21st century, it is the information era, information technology era. It means that technology has been built around information. There is no information that you would want and you cannot get. If you are deficient in information, you cannot thrive in other societies. I am coming from Ghana. Many companies have come to Ghana and done well. Some to have come and have not been able to do well. They came with noise, but when they were leaving, they left very quietly. Why? Because they didn't know, they didn't want anyone to know about their failure story. So they folded and left. We have, one of them is Pep Stores. Pep Stores came to Ghana but couldn't do well. But as I speak to you now, we have the shopping malls that are full of South African companies. And they are doing very well. Why? Because they've been able to gather information to understand the culture and the traditional setup of the Ghanaian society. And so when they brought products that fit into what we accept, they are doing very well. The first time dolls were taken to Japan from America, the dolls were not sold. Why? Because the dolls were made to be very tall. Because Americans are tall and Japanese are short. So they saw the dolls as an insult to them. They never bought them. When they now understood and created the Japan version of dolls and teddy bears, it did very well in Japan. So you can't move to an economy without understanding the place you are going. And this has nothing to do with faith or belief. This is information. You can't sell winter coat in Ghana. There is no winter. You can clap if you want to. So understand the people. Understand where you are going. That is why before God took the Israelites to the promised land, he sent people to go and spy the land. They must understand the people and how the people act and how they talk. This morning, I had one of the shocks of my life. I was sitting as a resource person, and my cameraman, I made a sign like this. In Ghana, it means come. And whilst I was making the sign, he was staring at me because he never understood the language of my sign. So it is very important and crucial and critical for us to gain information, and it is not difficult. Sometimes it's just because we are lazy. And we believe so much in our product. Listen, people are not looking for product. They are looking for experience. So if you have a product, what is the experience around it? What is the service around the product you are selling? Brent Tracy said people buy two things. They buy solution and they buy service. But before you can give service to people, you must understand their cultural setup and their tradition, so you can meet them where they are. To conclude, opportunities. If someone tells you there are no opportunities in this world, it's a deception. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 14. The eyes of the wise are in his head. What it means is this: your eyes are not on your face alone. You have two eyes on your face that makes you see things that are visible. But beyond things that are visible, there are things that are invisible. And you cannot succeed until you see what is invisible. Very simple. As you are seated here right now, I will please ask you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. I'll ask you a simple question. Can you see your house now? Just as you left it this morning, I'm sure you can see your house. I'm sure you can see your bedroom and how it is well organized. You can see where your towel is. You can see everything. Listen, you don't just see because you have eyes. You see because you have insight. Your eyes can see visibility, but your insight can see invisibility. And there is nothing that is invisible today that did not exist in the invisible world. It is those who have the ability to see Zacchaeus in Luke chapter 19 wanted to see Jesus. That was his dream. That was his vision. He wanted to see Jesus. It was his vision. The Bible said, for lack of vision, my people perish. Listen, you can't succeed if you don't have a vision for what you want to do. It is men of vision that rule the future. Your vision is your ability to see into the future. It's a mental picture of future realities. So before there was Apple, it existed in someone's vision. Before there was aeroplane, it existed in someone's vision. Before there was Facebook, it existed in somebody's vision. There is something in you, and we are waiting for it. Number two, the Bible says Zacchaeus could not because he was short. Listen, if you don't have a vision, you will not discover your limitations. It is your visions that attract the feeling of limitations. If you don't do anything, you eat, you wake up, eat, sleep. Listen, you have nothing to be worried about. But it is because you want to do something and you don't have the ability to do it. That is why you are worried. So your vision attracts limitation. But limitations are internal. Oftentimes there are things you are born with. Case study. God told Moses, you are going to Pharaoh to tell him, let my people go. And Moses said to God, I cannot speak, because he was a chronic stammerer. If you read Acts chapter 2 verse 7, 22 verse 7, the Bible said, and Moses was so powerful in speech. So somehow when he got to Egypt, he was able to speak. It means limitations are supposed to be overcome. They are not stop signs. He's outlined all the challenges we will meet, but it doesn't mean we cannot go there. Limitations are internal. I don't have money. I don't have the competence. I don't have